Imagine two brothers born into royalty, one destined to be king, the other determined to carve his own path. But today, it isn't crowns or titles making headlines. It's money, choices, and the very different ways William and Harry are shaping their legacies. So, here we are again. Harry versus William round. I've honestly lost count. But this time, it's not just royal drama. It's about who's paying for what and who's quietly setting the gold standard while the others left ranting in Montecito. William just dropped a silent power move that's got Harry reportedly boiling. While Harry once took millions from the British public for home renovations and then bailed, William is now doing the exact opposite. He's paying out of pocket, millions, by the way, to fix up Forest Lodge, the family's new forever home, and not asking the taxpayer for a single dime. And if that's not a direct dig at his brother's choices, I don't know what is. Let's rewind for a second. Years ago, Harry and Meghan moved into Frogmore Cottage, a quaint, charming home that most people would dream of. But for Meghan, it apparently felt more like a demotion than a royal perk. The couple then oversaw a $3 million renovation of the property, all funded by the public. Brand new finishes, upgrades, and all the bells and whistles. And then what did they do? Left. The cottage wasn't glamorous enough, the location wasn't buzzy enough, and apparently the furniture wasn't Montecito chic. And when they finally paid that money back, it wasn't because of a moral awakening, it was because they were leaving the UK and basically had no choice. Now contrast that with William. The man is about to be king one day, and yet he's footing the entire bill to renovate Forest Lodge, a $20 million property that's nowhere near in mint condition. We're talking an old grade 2 listed 8-bedroom estate with a tired roof, outdated windows, and a heating system that probably moans louder than British tabloids. But William's doing it quietly with his own money. No complaints, no fuss, and definitely no Netflix deal needed to afford it. And it's not just about the money, it's about the optics. William's making a statement. He's showing the public that royalty doesn't have to mean entitlement. It can mean duty, modesty, respect. He's moving into a place where, despite its grandeur, he and Catherine will have no live-in staff, will pay market rent, and are committed to raising their children as normally as possible. Meanwhile, Harry is over in California reportedly spending around $2 million a year on security and God knows how much on koi pond maintenance. Here's the part that really stings for Harry, though. William didn't have to do this. The renovations could have easily been paid for by the Crown Estate, taxpayer-funded standard procedure. But instead, William deliberately chose a different path, one that highlights everything Harry has been criticized for. And every time William takes the high road, Harry looks a little more petty, a little more reactive, and a whole lot more out of touch. This latest move is being described by insiders as a full-on PR masterstroke. Not only does it showcase William as a humble future king, but it also draws an unmistakable line between the two brothers. One is rooted, traditional, grounded, the other flailing, disconnected, angry. William's not just making home improvements, he's rebuilding the public image of royalty brick by brick. And every nail he hammers into Forest Lodge feels like a warning shot straight toward Montecito. Harry can't win in this matchup. No matter how loudly he complains or how many books he writes, the contrast is becoming clearer by the day. William, the heir, is stepping into his role with grace, and Harry, the spare, seems stuck in a loop of resentment, lawsuits, and Spotify flops. William's decision to fund the entire Forest Lodge renovation from his own pocket isn't just smart PR. It's a clear reflection of who he is becoming as a leader. While others in the royal circle cling to perks, he's setting a different standard. This isn't the move of a man trying to show off. It's the move of someone who understands how to carry the weight of a crown before even wearing it. He's planning for the long game. And part of that strategy includes keeping the monarchy relatable in a time when public trust is fragile. Forest Lodge itself is no palace in waiting. It's an old weathered estate nestled in Windsor Great Park. Historic, yes, but it's going to cost a small fortune to bring up to speed. Repairs are already underway, from replacing the heating system to restoring windows and updating the interiors. And let's not forget, it hasn't seen serious investment since 2001. It needs everything, but William's covering the bill personally, and he's not cutting corners either. Catherine has reportedly been spotted picking out new furniture and making tasteful upgrades. Not flashy, just elegant. It's very them. Quiet class, no tabloid-worthy extravagance. They're also going to pay full market rent. That means thousands of dollars each month. Despite being royals, they could have negotiated a discount. They could have leaned into tradition, but they didn't. They want their kids, George, Charlotte, and Louis, to grow up with a strong sense of what things are worth and what's fair. No special treatment, no handouts, and certainly no entitled assumptions about what they deserve. That mindset, especially in comparison to some other royals, is refreshing. Adelaide Cottage, where they've been living since 2022, has only 4 bedrooms, and despite being cramped for a growing family, they never complained publicly. No passive-aggressive Netflix interviews, no veiled jabs in books, no grumbling about feeling sidelined. They just got on with it. That's part of what makes them so well respected among the British public. There's dignity in not making everything about you, and William and Catherine seem to get that better than most. Now compare that with how Harry and Meghan handled Frogmore Cottage. From the very beginning, there were complaints about the size, the location, the style. Frogmore was never good enough. Meghan even admitted to disliking the name because it sounded small, not regal enough. Apparently, they wanted a palace vibe, not a cottage life. So what did they do? Demanded renovations, $3 million worth, all paid by the taxpayer. And once the work was done, they bounced, left the country, took the luxury, and walked away. Sure, they paid the money back, but only after moving out. Only when it became a PR disaster. It didn't come from a place of responsibility. It came from pressure. The optics were terrible, and now, years later, the comparisons are only getting sharper. While Harry's financial decisions often raise eyebrows, multiple lawsuits, private jets, a security bill that rivals a small country's GDP, William is walking the opposite path. Forest Lodge isn't just a home, it's a message, a deliberate statement. William is saying, we'll do it ourselves, we'll earn our keep, and we'll do it the right way. And for a man preparing to become king, that message is hitting exactly where it needs to. In an age of royal scrutiny, he's proving that leadership doesn't have to be loud. Sometimes it just has to be right. There's a quiet power in the way William is reshaping what it means to be royal. Forest Lodge may sit on 50 acres of prime land and date back to the 1770s, but it's not being treated like some crown jewel estate. It's being lived in properly, humbly, and intentionally. It has 8 bedrooms, a tennis court, a ballroom, and even views of Wembley's iconic arches. But you won't see William flaunting any of that. In fact, one of the most telling details is that they won't be hiring live-in staff. Not because they can't, but because they don't want to. Catherine reportedly wants the kids to grow up in a home, not a royal compound. She wants the family to eat dinner together without a butler waiting by the door, for their kids to know how to make their own beds and help set the table. That kind of thinking shows that for all the formality that surrounds them, the Wales family actually craves normalcy. They've seen what happens when that's missing, and they're building a home that reflects who they are, not who tradition says they should be. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan's Montecito mansion is the polar opposite. It's all about scale, visibility, status, the koi pond, the endless renovations, the privacy hedges tall enough to block out even their own shadows. Nothing about their setup suggests grounded family life. It's all marble countertops and studio lighting, yet the stories that come out of there are anything but polished. Financial strain, podcast flops, business deals falling through, the constant fight to stay relevant in a place they chose to escape the very spotlight they now court. And while William quietly takes on more royal duties, Harry is entangled in lawsuits against tabloids, against the British government, and even against the Home Office over his security arrangements. Millions of dollars have been poured into legal battles. That doesn't scream peace. That doesn't scream stability. It screams chaos. And every time a new controversy erupts, it reflects not just on Harry, but on the life he's chosen. There's also the question of legacy. William isn't just thinking about today. He's preparing for the long haul. For a monarchy that can survive modern pressures without looking like a relic. His refusal to join King Charles's rumored peace deal with Harry shows where his priorities lie. No forced reconciliation, no smoothing over betrayal with royal smiles. He's drawing a line, and that's resonating with people. You can't keep extending olive branches to someone who keeps setting fire to the tree. And then there's Catherine. The image of strength and grace, quietly battling health issues, continuing her duties, never making herself the center of the story. She lived in a tiny 4-bedroom house for years without complaint while being one of the most scrutinized women on the planet. That speaks volumes. No leaked complaints, no subtle jabs through friends and the media. Just work, just family, just getting on with it. So when the family finally moves into Forest Lodge, it won't just be a change of address. It'll be a symbol of independence, of responsibility, of how the future king and queen plan to lead. No grand palaces, no 20-car entourages, no cries for attention. Just a family building something real, quietly, proudly, and unapologetically. And somewhere across the Atlantic, as headlines praise William's humility and financial independence, Harry will probably be crafting another speech, another interview, another grievance. But at this point, it doesn't matter. The contrast is too clear. One brother is rising, the other is ranting, and the crown, it seems, already knows where it's headed.